First, the elaborate tax scam that allegedly netted $165 million for the accused fraudsters, including the Deputy Commissioner's children. Police say it could be one of the biggest white-collar fraud investigations they've ever seen. But how could a government department with such a fierce reputation for hunting down cheats get caught up in a scandal like this?
Oh, there's been a crash and a rollover. Cranston's car's gone over.
Adam Cranston's life certainly has come crashing down, on the track and off.
How do you fight these charges? Thank you.
Did you think you were going to get caught?
Adam, do you steal money? Where is all that money now, Adam?
Cranston has been living in the fast lane. Guns, planes, boats, bikes, fast cars.
They want to be flash. They want to hang around with the glitterati.
But his expensive James Bond lifestyle is on pause. And he's not alone.
Most people, taxpayers, do the right thing.
Not all. That's dear old Dad, who has gone down with his son. And Michael Cranston is not just any dad.
The man who is responsible for investigating tax crimes in Australia.
Yep, while you're hard at work paying taxes, this is the chap who is demanding them from you. Allegedly caught up in the scandal with son Adam in what Nine finance editor Ross Greenwood says is
one of the greatest scandals potentially to hit the Australian Tax Office in the history of the Australian government.
If you've ever made a mistake or done the wrong thing by the tax office, you may already know. Don't commit fraud on the tax man, because the penalties
can be very severe. They are severe in terms of a monetary penalty and severe in terms of jail time.
If you see
who'd have thought the man who makes sure you pay your taxes was allegedly part of it? If you've ever followed motor racing on Mount Panorama, you may have seen a Cranston car blazoned with Adam's company name, Sinop. He had millions of dollars worth of fast cars, teams of workers, as well as everything else. So many boys' toys, and he is just 30 years old. Now facing allegations of serious fraud.
It's a significant defrauding of the Commonwealth, where we're alleging $165 million was diverted to illegal gains.
All allegedly done in a complicated scheme that centred on a Cranston payroll company.
This organisation, which ran a payroll business, it charged no money for that payroll business, and then everybody tried to work out where it made money. It alleged that it was actually selling other services to those companies it was running the payrolls for. In actual fact, as we now discover, the allegation is that it was skimming off the money, the tax money, that should have been going to the Australian public.
I've never seen this amount of money in such an elaborate scheme that has happened here domestically within the country.
Queen's Counsel David Galbally says if the allegations are proven, the consequences could be severe.
Send a message to the community that if you behave like this and try and rip off the community, then you'll get dealt with severely, and hence heavy jail sentences are usually imposed.
For 35 years, Michael Cranston worked his way up to become the Deputy Tax Commissioner. He has now been stood down without pay on allegations of abuse of public office. While there's no suggestion he had knowledge of his son's fraud, federal police claim he accessed information for him.
What did your father tell you?
Or face further charges? What do you have to say?
Where is it?
The Cranstons weren't alone, though. Among the many who have been charged is 3 times Australian snowboard champion and Cranston partner Jason Onley.
Organised crime is very profitable.
Former Assistant Commissioner of New South Wales Police, Clive Small, says white-collar crime can be complex and takes time for investigators to unravel.
It is complex because it doesn't happen in 5 minutes. It's not like, say, walking into a bank, doing a hold-up and walking out. It's one of those things that does take time to organise.
It will be alleged that many of the chiefs of Cranston companies were in fact battlers, paid a nominal fee to be named as company directors. Police will now try to prove whether we've paid for the lifestyles of the rich and now not so famous.
It's still a hell of a lot of money that the tax office is not getting, and people like us are paying more in taxes to cover the shortfalls.
If only everyone had listened to the advice the taxman was dishing out.
My final message is, don't get involved in these schemes if it's too good to be true.
Adam Cranston has been released on $300,000 bail until his next court appearance. His father Michael will front court next month.
A Deputy Commissioner of the ATO and members of his family have been charged over an alleged $165 million tax scam. 9 people have been arrested, accused of using the elaborate scheme to fund a lavish lifestyle. Eddie Meyer has the details.
Cars, guns and money, a lot of it. Luxury motors, flash watches, even aircraft. A bewildering haul of assets at the heart of one of the biggest allegations of white-collar crimes uncovered in Australia. And these are the raids that finally brought this alleged fraud to an end. Some 300 Australian Federal Police and Tax Office investigators raided 28 properties across New South Wales, dismantling a syndicate police claim is responsible for ripping $165 million out of the tax system.
So that's $165 million that has been stolen from the community, in effect, in Australia.
The full tally of assets seized and claimed to be the proceeds of crime is incredible. 25 motor vehicles, including luxury sports cars, a dozen motorbikes, $15 million in cash, 18 residential properties, 2 planes, 100 bank accounts, jewellery, firearms, artwork and vintage wines. One of those charged Adam Cranston using one of those luxury cars on his wedding day.
Adam, you going to fight these charges?
What do you say about
What do you want to say about it?
Did you think that you were above it?
Thank you. It appears that it was quite lavish lifestyles that they were using to divert the taxpayers' money.
The 8-month investigation started with the AFP. When it realised the tax office was also onto the matter, they joined forces. But what it uncovered shocked the tax office itself. Adam Cranston and his sister Lauren, also charged, are the children of Deputy Tax Commissioner Michael Cranston. Michael Cranston now faces a charge of abusing his position as a public officer, not for being involved in the alleged fraud, but for unwittingly passing information to his son about an audit. Now, 3 other ATO officers also face a code of conduct investigation for accessing material they were not entitled to. All have been suspended without pay. Here is Michael Cranston in 2015 explaining an investigation into just the sort of crime his children are now charged with.
Generally, if it's an impact of revenue to the government and also sort of financial impacts on the community as well.
I cannot overstate the seriousness of these matters. Australians must have a tax administration that they can trust.
The operation itself was a complex one. A company called Platypus Payroll skimming taxes from legitimate companies, failing to pass it on to the ATO.
I think it's probably more akin to a Ponzi scheme.
Plutus competitors Patrick Burke and Colin Cuthbert were suspicious and started investigating when Plutus offered its services for free.
Everyone thought the contractors and the employees were going to be the people that were going to be ripped off. It was only after it had been sustained for 6 months or so that it looked apparent that it was someone else that was being ripped off.
The scale of the scheme drew shocked responses from the Prime Minister down.
We have zero tolerance for this type of conspiracy, this type of fraud.
Adam Cranston's family was in court. He was granted bail but faces 10 years jail if found guilty.
Did you have any comment about these matters today? Anything at all?
Are you shocked by the charges?
6 others arrested yesterday also had court appearances today.
Stressful time for the family. It's very early stages and we'll wait for the brief of evidence to arrive. They're just happy that bail's been granted and it's going to be a long process.
Eddie Meyer, 9 News.
One of Australia's most senior tax officials, along with his son and daughter, is accused of ripping off taxpayers to the tune of $165 million. Police raids seized cash, cars and even 2 planes, linked to what's being called one of the biggest fraud cases in the nation's history.
Adam Cranston walks free on bail, the son of one of the nation's most senior tax officers, on tax fraud charges.
What do you say about
What do you want to say about it?
Did you think that you were above it?
The scam he's alleged to have helped leading all the way to his father, Deputy Commissioner of the ATO, Michael Cranston.
We have zero tolerance for this type of conspiracy.
It's one of the biggest white-collar criminal investigations in Australian history.
We're alleging that this is an organised syndicate involved in a significant conspiracy to defraud the Commonwealth.
30-year-old Adam Cranston was arrested at his Bondi unit yesterday, one of 9 in total, including his sister Lauren, as federal police recovered an extraordinary haul. 25 cars, 18 properties, 12 motorbikes, 2 aircraft, vintage wines, $1 million in a safety deposit box. Total value, $165 million. Also linked to the scam, veteran television producer Steve Barrett, allegedly named in a $5 million blackmail plot threatening to expose the group to the media. It's alleged the scam involved a legitimate payroll company funneling wages through a series of second-tier companies which skimmed their tax payments. Federal police say the tax boss wasn't involved but faces charges for trying to assist his son.
We are alleging that he accessed information from the ATO systems.
Cranston has long railed against tax cheats.
There is some taxpayers that don't do the right thing.
His wife and Adams among the family in court today. It's understood that Michael Cranston also tried to cut a deal with the tax office on behalf of his son, approaching at least 2 other ATO officials, both of whom now have been suspended pending further investigation. Adam Cranston, a one-time amateur race car driver.
That's Cranston's car's gone over.
Whose alleged fraud syndicate just came to a crashing end. Chris Reeson, 7 News.